All right, ladies and fellas, welcome back. This video is going to be all about color and the color wheel. And those of you who printed this off at home had writing on it, and it looked kind of like this one. It had all the colors labeled and all of that for you. Mine is not labeled, and that's okay. So I was just going to go over this with you so you kind of had a better understanding of the color wheel and how it works and why it's important that we do this. So the first thing we need to know is that there are three basic colors that make up all the other colors, and this group of colors is called the primary colors. And primary colors are in the center of this color wheel, and they are red, yellow, and blue. Red, yellow, and blue are the only three colors that exist that you can't mix something else together or two other colors together to make those three colors. You have to have those three. You can't make those three. So I'm going to start out here, and I'm going to put red in the center because it is one of my primary colors. So red goes there. The other primary was yellow. And then there's one more. Blue. I can find my blue crayon. There it is. So red, yellow, and blue are the primary colors. Those three, like I said, make up everything else. I need to turn my paper so I can get this in here. There we go. Okay, so there are my three primary colors. Now, most of us know what happens when we mix those together. If you mix all three, you're going to get some kind of a muddy green, gray, brown color. But if you only mix two of them at a time, then you're going to get what we call secondary colors. And primary kind of means first or one. So if you take, one of these and one of these, it's going to make, 1 and 1 is 2, and 2 kind of stands for second, so secondary, because they come second once you mix your primary colors. So in order to make orange, you would have to mix yellow and red. So I'm going to grab my orange. So if I mix yellow and red together, it's going to make orange. Okay. And if I mix yellow together with blue, it's going to make green. And if I mix red and blue together, it's going to make violet or purple. So violet and purple, that's one of those colors that we're so used to calling purple purple, we don't realize that purple actually has another name, and that other name is violet. So I'm going to zoom in here on my crayon. Where it says on the edge, it says violet, and then in parentheses, there's the word purple next to it. That means that this crayon represents purple, okay? We just somewhere along the way we called violet purple instead, and then it stuck. So violet and purple mean the exact same thing, okay? It just means purple or violet. So because we don't call blue violet, we don't call it blue purple, and we don't call it red purple. It just sounds weird. So it's blue violet and red violet, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But this one is just violet, and I'm going to call it violet for the rest of this video. So there's that. Okay, so there is my purple my violet done. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color in some of this outer color wheel also. So the red here, the primary color, points to this box, and that is where the red will go on the exterior color wheel here. And I'm just going to get that taken care of. Okay. Then this yellow primary color is pointing to this area, so I'm going to color that primary color yellow because that's where it says to do it. And this blue primary is pointing to this space, so I'm going to color that space blue. And I'm using the actual crayon colors blue. I'm not using indigo. I'm not using cerulean. I'm not using, beautiful or whatever color blue you have in the box. When I'm saying red and yellow and blue, I'm using red, yellow, and blue. I'm not using some other named crayon. Okay? So, now we've got the 3 primary colors, just like we have the 3 in the center here. Yellow and red, when you mix them together, makes orange. So, I'm going to color this space orange also, because it is one of my secondary colors, because it comes second after the primaries. Then I've got yellow and blue. So in the middle of yellow and blue is green. So I'm going to color my green here. Okay, and then I've got red and blue when mixed, the 2 primaries, make that secondary purple or violet. So I'm going to find the one that says purple violet or violet purple, and I'm going to color that there. Boy, that's a hard habit to break, calling purple violet or violet purple. It's even hard for this art teacher, so I understand. As long as we can remember that they mean the same thing, according to crayons anyway. So, there we go. So we've got our primary colors. Notice how they make a triangle there. We have our secondary colors. So then we've got these colors in between the primaries and secondaries. Well, that's the space that we have left for the intermediate colors. And intermediate colors come in between the primaries and the secondaries. Okay, they're kind of intermittent. They're in between these other ones. So we're actually going to do a paint mix these colors, but for right now, we're just going to use crayon and color the color wheel with our crayons that are rightfully named. So for the secondary or the intermediate colors, we need to find the crayon that goes in between red and orange. And that is actually, if you mix red and orange together, it makes red orange. So you do have a crayon that says red orange, not scarlet, okay, but red orange. So you want to find the one that says red orange, not the scarlet crayon. Now you don't have to color yours as hard as me, but I'm just a hard colorer and I want it to show up really well on the video for you. So that's what I'm doing. I see a red spot I need to cover a little bit more. over here. There we go. Okay, so there is my red orange. So if I move down to this one, this space is between two other colors, and it's between yellow and it's between orange. So if I mix yellow and orange together, I'm going to get yellow orange. So I'm going to find the crayon that says yellow orange, and I'm going to color that space yellow orange. And the neat thing is that if you color it the right color from the start, it doesn't look like orange and it doesn't look like yellow. It looks like a good mix of the two. So, and the orange ones are the hardest ones. So, like if you look at, these two, obviously that does not look like yellow. And then if you look at just those two, this one looks a little more like orange, but it's not orange. So, and it could be just the difference in when my crayons were made. Sometimes crayon companies change the mix of their colors, and so that looks a little better now looking at the screen. So, all right, moving on to the next intermediate color. We've got a space in between these two, this primary color and this secondary color. If we mix this primary and this secondary, yellow and green, we will get yellow green, not green yellow. Yellow green and green yellow are not the same. Most of your intermediate colors are going to start with the primary color first, because primary comes first. Secondary colors go second. So this crayon, and I know it's blurry, but I think you can see, it says yellow green. Yellow is a primary, green is a secondary. So I know that I have chosen the right crayon to color this space in. So I'm going to color this in, this intermediate color. And we do this color wheel before we paint because I want you to have a visual reference for what we're doing. So when you paint a yellow-green, you can always look back at your color wheel and go, oh yeah, that's a little bit of both, and it shouldn't look like my green, it shouldn't look like my yellow. You kind of have something to look at to kind of go by. So there's our yellow-green. And then if I shift on over, I've got a space here between this primary colored blue and the secondary green. So if I take blue and green and mix those, I get blue-green. Not quite blue, not quite green. A little bit of both. There you go. So now I'm going to shift on around to this open space. I've got a primary color blue and a secondary color violet. So if I mix blue and violet together, I will get blue-violet. Turn my paper so I can get in there. There we go. And I do want to show you something about the blue-violet and violet-purple. So I'm going to zoom in here for a second so you can see a couple things here. If you look really closely, let me turn my color wheel over for a second so you can see what I'm talking about. If you look really closely at your blue-violet and your violet-purple, let me autofocus this so you can see a little better. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. There we go. Now let me zoom in a little closer. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. If I turn a light on, let me see if I turn the light on. I think that made it worse, but maybe we can tell. If you look really closely at your blue violet crayon and your violet purple crayon, you can see by looking at these two at the ends. I know the paper is the same color. Ignore the paper. Look at those two colors of the crayon, actually. You can tell that this one has more blue in it, and this one on the left has more like a purple, violet, red color. So just because the paper matches doesn't mean the crayon does, okay? So this is the blue violet because it looks more blue. And, you know, this is just a regular violet purple because it looks more on the purpley side. When we get to red violet, you'll see that it looks nothing like the other two. So I'm going to shrink back out here and get my color wheel focused again. There we go. So now when I do this last block, the red and the violet, if I take the primary color red and mix it with the secondary color violet, I'm going to get a red violet. And that has a little bit of that purple in it, that violet color, and it's got a little bit of the red in it to make it a little warmer. So there you have it. That is your color wheel with the primary, the secondary, and the intermediate colors all in one. So hopefully that explains kind of how the color wheel is made and how some of these other colors are made. And so next what we will do is we will practice mixing intermediate colors with paint, just so you get a better idea of what that actually feels like in real life when you go to mix those two together. So I will see you guys next time. Thanks for coming. Bye.